if 5 of our leadership team did win the Powerball, I know you all have the integrity to at least put in a decent week's notice so we could replace you.
Yeah,
so,
let's hope the check doesn't show up tomorrow.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, they don't wire it to you after you scratch. Christian, what's going on?
What's up, Jared?
Not much. We're here with our monthly recap for the company for the month of October, and we definitely have a lot to talk about today with the Olympic contest and getting closer to the end of the year. He's got the Special Olympics hoodies, and guys, if we hit our goals, we'll all be winning. Well,
one team
will be winning. Hopefully, my team will be winning a brand new hoodie.
Which team are you on?
I'm on Dayton.
Dayton Addy.
Yeah, Dayton Addy, led by the fearless leader Justin Pence, he's been very entertaining in the chat. That's for sure.
Well, Matt Musselman is also on that team.
Matt too.
Yeah.
Matt too. And Matt's vocal, but nothing like Justin. Justin will just quote like random 80s movie quotes that only I get. And I think we're at a point where he just does them for me. So,
everybody else is like, I don't even know what that's from.
Yeah, he had a they
Yeah,
live
80s
quote.
movies is tough because the majority of our staff was born in the 90s.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, some of our CSRs have no idea even what we're
Definitely
talking about. That's great. Well, Christian, before we get into it, I know I passed you the other week in the hallway, and I'm not afraid to say it. I complimented him of how good he looks, and you were wearing this like maroon colored shirt that just highlighted your eyes, and I just want to ask you, it's just what type of health routine have you been going on? It seems like you had some type of awakening with your health, with the gym and maybe dieting. So what does that look like?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't call it dieting necessarily. It's more of just a focus on just trying to be holistic. But if I'm being really honest, Jared, there's a reason. It wasn't like one day I just woke up, I was like, I should get in shape. We have a cruise at spring break, and in fairness, there's 16 people going.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's like a bunch of families with kids. And so I'm really good friends with all the dads. There's 4 of us total, and they are all in much better shape than I am. And I was like, okay, we're going to show up at this place. There's pool. We're going to be at the beach. Like I can't be the fat dad. You know what I mean? And so, I mean, just in fairness. And so me and ChatGPT have been working really hard on my fitness routine. So my goal is to hit 2,400 calories and 180 grams of protein a day. And I've been hitting the gym. I have a 7-day routine where I'm at the gym every single day. I will say lately I've been going maybe 6 days a week. Just scheduling has gotten a little bit tricky.
Yeah.
Honestly, the time change or the light change is affecting it. And the Blue Jackets just started back up, and we're big Blue Jackets supporters. So that has impacted it. I'm a nighttime gym, not a morning gym person.
Sure.
So that's just made it a little bit more challenging than my kids' soccer schedules. A little bit.
If you hit the gym in the morning, you'd have to go at like 2:30 in the morning because this guy's working at 4. So
that is the math problem that I have bumped up against, is that I do like to start my day early for work. And so the idea of adding 90 minutes to that to do gym and get a shower in and all that is just too much. And so what I've actually found works really well for me is like there's this period in the day when I can get home or I can get to the gym before I have to be home to make dinner. Because I also make dinner a lot of times.
Yeah.
Because I enjoy it.
Sure.
And then I can plug back in. So I usually work like from early in the morning until about 4 in the afternoon. I usually take 2 or 3 hours off. And then I'm usually back on my computer from like 7 to 10 in the evenings.
Are you noticing with this kind of change in your physical activity, I can't believe I'm about to say this,
more
but
energy?
Christian having more energy than he already does, and specifically your focus and your mind focus as a leader too?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's definitely not necessarily physical energy because I'm a pretty energetic guy, but I feel good physically. I feel good. And it also takes away that, because I've joked that the scale it's moving now, but it hadn't moved much at first because I was joking. I was like, I'm like a 1970s politician. It's not so much that I'm like, I'm just reappropriating the lines a little bit, to adjust to make sure the votes come my way.
Yeah.
And so, but now I'm starting to see a little bit of a little bit of a reduction on the scale as well. So, but I can also, what I'm more excited about is I can tell I'm getting stronger. Like,
and that's it. Muscle's going to weigh more than fat, and which is the truth.
Yeah.
But also your clothes fit differently, and
Sure.
that's a good way to tell. And you look smaller.
Thanks.
I mean, that's the big test,
Yeah.
right? It's not even
don't want to get too small.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Got to stay swole.
Yeah, gotta stay swole. Did I ever tell you about my app idea?
No.
So when I worked in this incubator program, when I was in the tech startup space, I had an idea for an app called Swolemates.
Okay.
And it was supposed to be like, based off like the Tinder framework, but you could match with somebody who fits your fitness goals and have a gym buddy.
That actually is a really good idea, because one of the challenges I have is that I don't work out with other people. And when I am trying to push myself, especially like bench press or shoulder press or anything, or even like squats or anything where you're getting into a precarious position where if things go the wrong way, it could be bad.
You might lose your head.
And less about that. It's like the embarrassment of being at the gym and like dropping weights or anything like. And I go to a very quiet gym. It's a very quiet, like, so you definitely, there's like nobody's. Like,
no lunkel arms being set off.
Nobody's racking weights like real loud or anything like that. So, so it has been. I mean, it's fine, and I'm not trying to like push. I've done that in my youth, where you would lift so hard the next day you couldn't even stretch your arms out.
Sure,
I don't need that in my life.
I get nervous about doing that the older I get too. It's just because it's harder to recover from a gym injury.
Yeah, so I have a good friend of mine. He's a physical therapist, and he helps me out a lot with a lot of different stuff. And what he has said to me in the past is, and he's in great shape, is he says, I lift heavy to keep age away. And so that's what I focus on. I try to lift as heavy as I can comfortably. So
awesome.
Yeah.
Well, that's exciting, Christian. And
hopefully month over month, we'll start to see the cruise is at the end of March. So
end of March. Oh yeah. I mean, I know my issue with dieting is going into the holiday season because Thanksgiving, the cookies, the baked goods. So
Halloween has already snuck up on me because
candy.
Amy knows that I have a special place in my heart for Nerds gummy clusters.
They're so good.
They're so good. And so she's specific, and we get a lot of trick-or-treaters at our house, so we buy a lot of candy. And she specifically came back from the BJ's with like tons of bags of candy. She says, don't worry, Christian, I made sure not to get any with Nerds gummy clusters. Well, turns out, no, that's not true. She bought an entire bag with like so many Nerds. Let's just say this. One day the girls came downstairs in the morning and went to open the trash can and throw something away, and they went, jeez!
Christian's just laying on the floor, passed out with Nerds on him everywhere.
Just Nerds gummy clusters everywhere. Because it's a little tiny package, so you can eat 6 of them. It's no big deal.
I remember when the Nerds rope dropped, and I was like, this is such a revolutionary candy, but hey, we're not talking about candy today.
Sorry.
We're talking about
cut this down.
Q4 in October, and we have an Olympic competition going on right now, which has been really exciting for both teams, just to see everybody coming together.
Yeah.
And there's been some trash talk, but I would say all friendly and fairly mild. So that's we toned it all down within the first
day. Was pretty aggressive.
Yeah. Leadership had to tell everyone, hey guys, let's. It's still one team, one goal,
still one company.
What were some of the standouts in October that you noticed?
The big thing that really changed for us was when we made the shift to put Gary and Matt into the GM roles. Matt temporarily while we shore everything up. But separating the markets has allowed for us to just look at the data a little bit differently and a little bit more critically and address, triage the issues within each market as opposed to trying to address what could look like a company-wide issue, but really is just a Dayton issue in one department or a Columbus issue in one department. Because the problem is when you have an issue that looks company-wide but is really just in one area, what you end up with is a bunch of people over here going, well, I don't know why you're talking about this because it's not an issue with me. And then when we get hyper-focused, we can solve that problem, fix it, and then move on. So shifting the markets has, I think, made a big impact, and it gives people just a little bit better focus.
What are some of the causes that you notice with each market performing differently with specific? Is that like our target customer? Is that an economic issue to pinpoint?
So I'd say it's more like HVAC, and this organization was born out of Columbus in Pickerington, Ohio. And so our HVAC division in Columbus is naturally going to be more established.
Yeah.
But also the HVAC division in Dayton has been around, and Cincinnati has been just around a lot for a long time, where but is not, maybe doesn't have the same level of sophistication from a customer base. Like up here, we have so many customers that we can market to and generate.
Sure.
And then we have the inverse problem in Dayton, which is a plumbing team that was established in Dayton, well known in Dayton, has a lot of talent on the team. And then we've organically built this team in Columbus. You just did a podcast with Brandon, who was the first plumber I ever hired.
I didn't even realize that.
In Columbus.
Oh, he was the first. Okay.
He was our first plumber, yeah. And so I think, some of the challenges that Dayton faces are different than the challenges that Columbus faces. And this, again, allows us to look at that. And then also from a marketing perspective, yes, it is a different customer base. At the end of the day, our customer is a homeowner who has a need.
Yes.
Right. And so we don't need to get too granular with it. But we do believe that there is a specific homeowner we're trying to target.
Yeah. Do we ever have opportunities where there's kind of mentorship and coaching from Columbus to Dayton and vice versa, Dayton to Columbus, where pain points are?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's happening already. I think Matt and Gary work really well together to shore those areas up.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely, best practices. And that's why we have our monthly manager meeting, so that those people could get in a room and talk and figure out what's working in what area.
So knowing that we're kind of filling some of the gaps and learning, but then growing quickly, what is the momentum that you're most excited about going into November?
Well, we're having a fantastic October.
Okay, so that's exciting. Yeah,
I'm very excited about that.
Yeah.
Again, I hate to keep saying it, but maybe this will be the theme of this podcast. But seeing the separation of the market in every day, what I'm truly most excited about, though, is because at the same time that we're separating the markets, we've brought Josh Bell in about 100 days ago or so. And Tom Watts, our controller, had already done so much incredible foundational work. And that's what Tom's great at. Tom's great at that blocking, tackling, day-to-day accounting. He and Josh, who's a more strategic CFO, who thinks who can use that data to tell a story and really help us to make good business decisions, seeing their impact at the same time, separating the markets, getting that granular financial data into each market, handing it to Gary and Matt, who are both super capable. We've also, which this won't come out until after the meetings, but we've announced assistant GMs in each market. So you can kind of get a sense as to what we're doing here, building a little bit of bench strength, making sure we have positions covered. And we want to have that for everybody in this organization, where whatever the leader is above you, if you're the kind of person who aspires to be that, we want to put you in a position to have some of that training and have some of that ready. Back in the day, they called it the, hit by the bus analogy. That's a little gross and weird. So we call it the Powerball analogy, which is if 5 of our leaders all hit Powerball and didn't show up tomorrow, what would we do? And we better have some bench strength. So Justin Pence will be the assistant GM in Dayton, and Brian Carnahan will be the assistant GM in Columbus, which you already know ties in really well with something we're going to announce here pretty soon.
Jared, I just know all the inside baseball with what's happening. But yeah, there's definitely alignment and synergy with.
And those two things happen completely separately.
Yeah, that's so,
But it tells you it was meant to be.
It's meant to be. And also, for the record, if 5 of our leadership team did win the Powerball, I know you all have the integrity to at least put in a decent week's notice so we could replace you.
Yeah, let's hope the check doesn't show up tomorrow. Right?
Yeah, they don't wire it to you after you scratch.
Also, why didn't you ask us if we wanted to get in on that?
Yeah, come on. we like buying lottery tickets.
I want to be in the pound. I only buy it if it gets over like $500 million. Like 500. 350 million maybe piques my interest, but about 500 million, I start to go, I might have to run to the store, get some Powerball tickets.
Yeah. I'm a sucker, just off the record, I'm a sucker for this show. It's on like HGTV.
Where, I already know.
I know.
My Lottery Dream Home.
My Lottery Dream Home is so good.
That guy is a kook.
He's a personality, that's for sure. he's more eccentric than me with fashion. He is. We'll leave it at that.
Very eccentric.
So, Christian, we've been running a company-wide competition between both markets, and just some of the inside data and maybe things that we don't even know. How do you think it's playing out so far with your perspective?
So I think that it's going almost exactly how I expected it to go, which was the first 10 days, there were some heavy hitters that could have won but didn't because we had a minimum qualifier they had to meet. Second 10 days, you saw those heavy hitters clean that up, and now their names are popping up as you'd expect. What I wouldn't have anticipated is one market has dominated the medal count in a way that I didn't anticipate. I should have anticipated it because that market has some of the more competitive leaders.
Sure.
And those are the kind of people who will adjust their behavior just to win the competition.
Yeah.
And just so everybody knows, like when we put these competitions together, we have the activity we want in mind. We're not just throwing darts at the wall. Like, we actually are strategically thinking, like, we really want to get these people thinking this way, and so we try to get people going that direction.
Yeah, the game is designed to change behavior that maybe some of us were lacking, or all of us were, not in a negative way, but it's an encouragement and motivator to get back on track and then exceed it too, and then take those good behaviors and apply it to future months.
What's been really exciting is that, as we split the market, this competition was natural to have the two markets compete against each other. Dayton did have a slightly smaller goal because we looked historically and saw how much of the revenue they usually achieve month over month.
Yeah.
And we went with the true data. So it was I think it was 48.5 and 51.5 or something like that. And so what's really exciting though is that competition with 3 days to go, it literally could go either way. I will tell you that Dayton has a better, the rest of the month, they have more banked revenue today than Columbus does, but Columbus is traditionally a next day and same day market.
Sure.
And Dayton does tend to have that because they have a little bit more on the project side in the plumbing department. So it's going to be interesting to see who wins out, but it literally is too close to call right now. It probably will come down to Lucas and I over the weekend having to spend a few hours making sure that the number is exactly right.
That's exciting. I almost like competitions where it does go down to the wire like this.
Absolutely.
Too. It's way more fun. And so regarding just team culture, why do you think these competitions are so important?
I mean, I think we hire naturally competitive people. You come to work for an organization where, our two core values that we talk about, or maybe the three core values that we talk about the most. I've been thinking about this a lot lately. Like the idea of integrity and generosity, those are kind of baked in. Like if you don't have integrity, you shouldn't work here. If you're not a generous individual, that doesn't really align with us.
Yeah.
But it's that relentless, passionate expert, right? It's that person it's that person who cares about their craft because it's their career and it's their craft and it's something that they think about, and they watch YouTube videos and they follow people on social media and they're in groups and they chat about it. And it's when you give somebody like that, somebody who considers themselves to be an expert, who puts themselves at the top of the class, and you tell them that they're going to compete against somebody else who has that same belief, you bring that out in them.
Yeah.
And so I think it's important to us because it's important to the DNA of the people who work here.
Yeah, that's a great point. And going along with just how competitive a lot of our employees are, it gives opportunities for employees in Columbus to kind of see like their I don't want to say opponents because I don't want to say, but their opponents in Dayton and being like, I don't work with this person every day, but I hear about him.
Names.
I hear his names in the chats. I hear praises or hers, or her. And this is an opportunity for me to go head to head where essentially prior to a competition, maybe it's just internally within their own market. So Christian, we've already name dropped a couple employees on this podcast, but just kind of looking at our employees as a whole, what were some standouts this month? The stats on the awards without kind of spoiling it. Just what were some employees that really stood out performance-wise?
So, and maybe this will go in a different direction than you would expect. there's some unsung heroes at the organization who don't get a lot of shout outs. And they've been put through the ringer here the last 90 days as we've really tried to, and they're taking it, they're taking fire from all sides. And that's our logistics teams.
Yeah.
So we are super serious about getting our financials in order. And part of getting our financials in order is having an inventory process that we can follow. And so we will be doing that. And we will be watching every piece of material that comes in and goes out of this building. But to get there, you have to, have you ever cleaned a garage that was really messy? Like sometimes you get halfway through cleaning and if somebody walked in right then, they'd be like, you made it worse.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, well, we haven't started putting stuff back yet. First, we just had to pile sort everything.
You have to know what you have.
Got to know what you have.
Yeah.
And so the logistics team in Columbus, led by Dale, down in Dayton, led by Mike Wise and Ryan Dahl and Nate and those guys down there. Joel and Ryan and Adam here in Columbus, they have just done a tremendous amount of work. I know they're carrying a lot of weight. They're hearing it from. They're hearing it from me. Yeah. They're hearing it from leadership. They're hearing it from Lucas. And I know they're hearing it from the frontline teams who are annoyed with this change. Nobody likes change management. That's why they have books written on just how do you manage change in an organization. So I just want to shout them out and know that all the effort you're putting in doesn't go unnoticed. And while it may feel right now like it's a little bit out of control, just know that I recognize that we are halfway through cleaning the garage and I expected a mess.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And I also just want to add just everyone you just listed, I'll spend time in each of the warehouses filming content and doing what I do. And I always interact with these guys. And even despite going through inventory changes and counting inventory and everything, you guys are still so positive and have a smile on your face and always kind of say hi and ask about my day. And we have good conversations still. So nice. I'm really appreciative of all of you.
Yeah. And then I just, one other person that never gets shouted out or probably not nearly as often as he probably should, which is Matt Musselman. Matt is literally the heartbeat of the organization. I mean, he knows where everything is, how everything's going. He knows a lot of it better than I do. And he has relationships that drive the business forward. And if you've never heard the story of how Matt got here, you should, because it's a great story. He definitely did not come here to lead and run a residential company. And he's doing it, and he does it amazingly every single day. We literally couldn't do what we do without him.
Yeah. Shout out Matt too. You're the man. And, from my understanding, the best pickleball player at this organization too. So
yeah, I mean, Matt's good at two things: being the chief operations officer and beating up on old people.
Yeah, it takes pride.
On the pickleball court only is what I've been told. I don't think he's just finding random old people to beat up on.
So Christian, we have 2 more months left of the year.
Crazy.
It's flown by. Then we'll be in 2026, which we're already planning for. But as we finish off the year, what's encouragement or focus points that our team should focus on and keep in mind?
I think it's what we've been talking about. Now is the time to protect the lead that we've built.
Yeah.
Protecting the lead doesn't mean we get complacent or we stop trying super hard. It means focusing in on the fundamentals and making sure we don't give up any big plays. So let's not ever leave a house and not make sure the customer doesn't know all the options. Even if we don't get them to say yes today, that's okay. Let's just make sure they at least know what the options are. And then more than anything, I would say we are weather enhanced, not weather driven. And so if you look at the 30-day forecast, which I don't suggest you do, because who could ever think that we could predict 30 days from now what the weather's going to be? They can barely predict it tomorrow.
Not in Ohio, at least.
Let's not worry about what the weather's doing. Let's focus on what we can do to control our outcomes. And if we do that, we will be successful. In reality, we didn't close. We had a tough Q3, which is going to change how we have to handle Q4 and forward. We took our eye off the prize and we didn't adjust fast enough. We talked about that on this podcast. Yep. But that's definitely making some impacts, because just like at your house, or if you're a single person or whatever, you have a budget you manage. You have a certain amount of money that enters into your bank account every week and a certain amount that goes out. And if you have too many weeks where those two numbers don't align, things are not going to go well. Or if those two numbers are too close together, and then it's like, hey, I want to go on a trip, or I want to throw an anniversary party for my parents or whatever. Like if the finances aren't there, how do you do it, right? I mean, you can borrow the money, take out credit, loans, interest, all that. And so I think we're having to make some of those difficult decisions about what can the company afford to do this year? What do we need to do next year? And how do we protect what we've built in the best way possible and steward that the best way possible?
What Christian is trying to say, guys, is eat the leftovers.
Eat the leftovers.
When the leftovers
please.
are in the fridge,
yes,
don't throw it away.
Don't throw it away.
Eat it.
Yes,
Eat the
100%.
leftovers.
Yep,
that really stuck with me. You told that story. Your daughter just throwing away the leftovers.
Always.
Yeah, and you're
Eat
like,
the leftovers.
nope, eat the leftovers. Well, Christian, thank you so much for another awesome episode. And yeah, we're really excited about finishing off the year strong. And I'm just really proud of this team.
Thanks, Jared.
Yeah.
Bye.